and blood, both equal in weight, one symbolic of love and the other hate. Milk and blood, they don't mix well, right? It's a strange combination, much like our society. Milk and blood both dripped on the plate. Some were shocked, others amazed by his grace. I will throw a grand feast, and you, my chief guest. Come stay with me, that carpenter won't provide rest. Many people came, but Nanak was not there. Bhago was angry, frustrated, so he sent his servants. Find out where he is, and bring him to my feast. I cannot be dishonored. He cannot choose a beggar over me. Nanak agreed. He said, I will go with you as you please. They were baffled by his response, wondering how so easily and what the reason could be. When he witnessed his feet adorn his threshold, he asked relentlessly, why did you not come to my feast? I had a grand feast arranged for you, but you chose to eat plain bread instead. Why? Everybody stood waiting. What could the answer be? And then, very simply, he granted their plea. He reached into his bag and took Lalo's bread. In the other hand, he held Malik Bhago's bread, and when he squeezed them, his was adorned in red, whereas milk poured out of Lalo's bread. This is a trick! You've done something to my bread! Everyone was shocked, whilst Malik anticipated for the blood to stop. Then very calmly, Nanak said, this is no trick. It is your deeds spilling out of this bread. Lalo's bread was made with honest and hard work, whereas yours and your wealth was gained by cheating the poor. The milk represents his honest work and pure deeds, and yours reflects deceit. Your wealth, your feast, was created through the blood and sweat of your servants. It is not your hard work, but simply your pride and greed. Milk and blood, both equal in weight, one symbolic of love and the other hate. There was sadness on earth, but joy in heaven. I, as a Sikh, am ready to die to protect the right of people of all faiths. For one is no less, and one is no great. He was interrogated for days, imprisoned and caged, tortured in the most inhumane ways. There was sadness on earth, but joy in heaven. In front of his eyes, he witnessed his sorrows collide. He gave up his life so the needy no longer hide, but justice still cried. He witnessed it with his eyes, embraced in cotton and set ablaze, and boiled in a cauldron, yet so calmly he prayed. There was sadness on earth, but joy in heaven. And then came that day they gave up on this game. A sword pulled out, and the guilty faced the blame. As it cut through his skin, he laid down his head. There was sadness on earth, but joy in heaven. He laid down his head, but not his creed, for it was much greater than a cruel man's greed. There was sadness on earth, but joy in heaven. Milk and blood, both equal in weight, one symbolic of love and the other hate. Brick by brick, they tried to board up the truth. Brick by brick, they tried to break their courage, but their courage was strong, for they stood there knowing their deeds were not wrong. Brick by brick, they laughed as it towered. They said, why don't you just convert? Become one of us and you can have the world. But they said no. Our Father has taught us to stand up for what's right, that no matter what happens, equality is our biggest might. Brick by brick, they tried to silence their voices, but they were not defenseless, and they did not lose, for the truth was their weapon that could overpower the cruel. They would rather give up their life and smile when held at a knife, and their smiles shone bright, paving way for the sun in the sky. Milk and blood, both equal in weight, one symbolic of love and the other hate.